Welcome back to the channel. Once again, working on my GT500 blower swap on my 5.3. Still working on the accessory brackets. So let me show you what I've gotten done this week and some issues I've run into. Stick around. Alright, so as you can see, I've got it mocked up here. I still haven't done anything on the passenger, or excuse, I should say the power steering side yet, other than I have done some stuff to the power steering pulley, which I'll go into here shortly. But as you can see, I've got the passenger side alternator bracket and tensioner set up. Got the brackets cut, and from what I've seen, or what I see, I should say, now that I've actually got it physically assembled, is I've run into a few issues. One of which is the inside of this pulley on the tensioner hits this mounting boss, which isn't drilled or used on this particular water pump, and it does stick out beyond this face here, and if I knock it back to that face, that gives me plenty of clearance, which then would bring me in interference with the thermostat housing. That's not a big deal. Second issue is, yes, this tensioner is all the way up, but as you can see, and I'll see if I can tension this a little better, I don't have a whole lot of clearance between that belt and the spacer for the tensioner, and as this is down, that's going to bring this belt down and then potentially rub on it. I have two options there, one of which, run a smaller diameter spacer, which I could do. But secondly, as you can see, I don't have a bolt in here for the tensioner. Is I run into, on the back side here, I can't get a nut. So to solve these problems, I've looked at it, and it's just easier for me to rotate this tensioner up basically 10 millimeter clockwise. So I need to cut a new bracket that puts this bolt out here. This one comes down a little further. That doesn't bother anything. I'm pivoting along this bolt here, which is the lower alternator bolt, and that moves that nut up out of the way. Also, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this. The 3D model I'm using is of an LS3 and an LS3 water pump. Now this is an LS1 style water pump, and there are some dimensional differences. They're very, very similar, but there are some minor differences down here. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to bring the front bracket down to the lower bolt hole down here where my finger is. And as you can see, I have plenty of room for the spacer and the bolt, which means I'm also going to have enough room for that bracket. So I need to go inside, make these adjustments to this front bracket, and cut another one. And that's where we're going next. Stick around. Alright, welcome back. So I've got my machine zeroed, working on finishing getting my new bracket, getting the CNC program adjusted, so I've got to post it. I want to overwrite the old one, yes, because this is my newest version. I wouldn't do it because I was in a hurry. I need to close it here first. There we go. Alright, so let's go. Settings where I want them. Post. Looking at that. 2, 3. Delete. Alright. Good here. Machine. Yep. Alright. Overwrite. Yes. Posted. More lock. Move my file. Got the correct date on it. My correct bracket. Ground is on. Power's on. Power's up. And cross your fingers and get a bracket. See if she cooperates today. Okay, she's cut. And it looks okay. I still say it's still not cutting straight down through. I've always had this issue with this particular plasma cutter. No matter how I work with the torch, trying to, first I put it in square 90-90. Cuts three sides great, and one side will be angled. So I work on it a little bit, change the angle of the torch, then it changes. The other side gets angled. So it's just got something to do with this particular. It's not really meant for CNC work. It is high frequency. If it misfires, all heck breaks loose, scrambles the computer. I really do want to get a blowback style plasma cutter, and I am looking into those. I'm not sure which one I'm going to get yet. On the cheap end, there's a Yes Welder. It has a blowback, about $350. And on what I will say the high end, Prime Mold makes a nice blowback, and I've seen it used on many Langmuir tables, and that's probably the one I'm going to get. A lot of people seem to be using them and having great results with it. And for this $300 plasma cutter, I can cut brackets. Just can't get the quality that I'd like. But until then, we'll make do with what we've got. There's always a flat wheel to square things up a little bit. We'll let this cool down, knock it out, clean it up. We'll take it upstairs, get it fitted, and see how it looks. Be right back. Welcome back to the channel. I had some time at work today. Got my new brackets made up. Got the new style power steering bracket, or got my power steering bracket done. I got my revised outer bracket for the alternator. Got everything stripped off, so let's get it reassembled. See how it looks. Bear with me here. Alright, so we need this goes out here, 2-inch spacer, that one. This one's just snugged up. So I can load everything else in. Alright. That one. This one. This. Here. So this should be flush with that. And I'm good there. I'm in line with that. So I did shorten these 1/8 of an inch, so this is back in a little further. But I also spun this clockwise. So now I should be able to drop this down. I need for tensioning. And that is a very stiff tensioner. This is a tensioner for a Ford Lightning and or 0304 Cobra with the blower. So this is actually meant for a blower setup. Now we're going to move on to the power steering pump side. And I think I'm going to have to shorten bolts, so let me see if these fit. Get this bolted up to here, see if it works. If not, I'm going to cut them down. Get those done first because you need to see me just zipping that off. And I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Alright, so I've got things kind of mocked up here. I don't know what distance is yet here until I install the pulley here and get it lined up here, and I'll be able to determine where this plate will be, relation to the head, and then from there I'll be able to know if these are okay or if I'll change them out and remake new ones. Fit and finish, figure out what's got to go on. First I got to get this pulley on. As I said earlier in the video, I had to make some changes to this pulley. When I looked it up, it was supposed to have a 3/4 inch press fit bore on it, and it did not. It was 0.66 or something like that. I think it was 17 millimeter. It said it was 19 millimeter. So what I did was machined out the old hub, machined in a new hub, and I pressed it in. So it's good and snug. I have a nice chamfer here. So if this all works out the way I want it, I'll take a TIG welder, weld it in permanently. But for now, I just got it pressed in good and tight. So let's get it installed on the power steering pump here and figure out where my distance is so I know what my spaces are, and I can get those worked up tomorrow at work. Get off my knees here. Let's give you a look-see. So, that's what the front dress is going to look like. So I'm going to take a break. My wife should be home here in a few minutes from work. I'll figure out the spacers, get the distance, get this square to this, and I'll get those machined up at work tomorrow. I'll need 3 of those. I may actually have the bolts for that, probably. And then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to need as far as the standoffs for these 2 pulleys. So their distances are good. But that's where we're at right now. Stick around, we'll pick this up tomorrow and do some more. And hopefully have this front dress worked out. Stick around. Wow, welcome back to the channel. Been a couple of days. Sunday evening, I really didn't get anything done today. I just had zero motivation. I don't know why. Just didn't feel like doing much of anything. That said, we have collected a few materials. I've got the plugs for these extra set of injector holes. I've got a bracket here, supposedly for a throttle cable. Now, right now, my throttle cable comes off the right and up. I'm hoping here, sorry guys, I'm trying to do this all one-handed here, is put it this way and pull the cable up and under. Hoping I get enough room for that. That'll remain to be seen. What else do I have? Oh, I've got plugs. I want the drill and tap these extra holes and cap those. Ooh, I need to order my bolts for the intake and the blower. Remind myself of that. But as you can see, we got a belt on. So I have got the brackets made up, obviously. And I plan on putting a bar in here from this upper pulley to this lower pulley, both these idlers. That way they'll work against each other, or I should say working with each other, because right now they're pulling. This one's going this way all by itself. That one's going down all by itself. And they are on 1.5 inch spacers, so they are on a bit of a lever. So if I tie them together, they'll basically null each other out. I did have to extend, add a piece down here on this bracket. So I got to pull it back, finish weld it, clean it up, and gusset that. There is speculation online on whether I'm going to clear my power steering pump in my power steering box. That's a good question. This is pretty much where mine is right now, other than it's in. I am back significantly from the other, because this is actually a Corvette style versus a truck style, and I'm currently running a truck style, so I am back about 1.5 inches, if I remember correctly, from a truck. And my steering box has moved forward at least 2 inches on the frame, because I put my axle ahead about 4, and then I moved the steering box ahead 2, and I got all my things in line the way I wanted them. This is what I've come up with so far. If it comes into where this doesn't work, I can raise it, make a kind of new bracket, bring it up, stay in this envelope here, bring it up a couple inches. With the only deciding factor here is running into interference here with not only the temperature sensor, if my head, if I have one on that side, if I'm not sure if it's on this side or on the other head, and this head bolt. So it would have to come out. So maybe what I'll try to do is, since I can do this separately, is to just take this bracket assembly, take it over to my Jeep, knock off the alternator and power steering pump stuff I've got right now, and see what happens. I mean, at worst it hits. If it does, it'll adjust as needed. But this is what I've come up with so far. I did order some decapped flex fuel injectors that will be coming in here next week. This should be 84 pound. They've been flowed, tested, matched. I could have done it myself, but for the money, buying the set from the junkyard's like 100. I got a junkyard once, almost 18 bucks a piece for an injector. Then time I get them and strip them, get all the rebuild kits for them, decap them, flow them out, which I don't even have the equipment to flow them out. To get that done was, well, it'd take time and probably a lot more than the 175 bucks I got out of a set of recaps. And plus, they're actually flowed and tested and checked already, so it's a good set. Saved me some time. So I think at this point it was just something, it's easier just to do that. So this should be it hopefully in next week. I believe at this point I have all the hard parts I need. So I think I got everything I need to finish this. It's just getting the bits and pieces of fabrication done. Obviously I got some Jeep injectors in there just to hold the rails. They're too tall. Once my correct injectors come in, I'm going to make brackets because these are just generic rails. So I'll have to get that handled. I'll probably remake this crossover tube, because I don't believe it's Teflon rated or alcohol rated, and I want to set this up for alcohol. I want to run E85, so I'm going to make sure everything's rated for alcohol. Did make this block off plate for the EGR, that's done. So once I get these capped, that should finish off that. I do have a LS3 style map sensor, 3-bar, and an adapter for my harness. Need to get a bolt for that. I need to put a plug in here for the run up to the blow off valve. And I'm not sure if I'm going to need this one or not. If not, I'll just cap it. Figure it out as I go there. That's Atwood's garage. That's where I'm at right now. Get some of the stuff done here, and next week bring up another video with more progress. Hopefully it'll be done. Let's see, the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd, the Jeep will be at the Midwest Off-Road Expo in Wilmington, Ohio. Got them entered in there. Be able to show it off a little bit. I won't have the supercharger setup done by then. I mean, technically I probably could, but to get it tuned and running correctly, even enough just to idle in and idle out, there's probably more than I can get done in the weekend and week and a half I've got left. I'd rather it's up and running. There's nothing wrong with it. It just needs a bath, and I can get a clean day here. I can give it a bath. It's ready to go to hit a show. So anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time. Out.